All right, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to dive into the different types of identity theft scams. So without further ado, let's kick right into it. So what are identity theft phishing scams? Well, it's when scammers send fraudulent emails and messages that appear to be from a legitimate organization, such as a bank, a government agency, or a trusted company. They often request sensitive information like social security numbers, passwords, and credit card details. So yeah, just like anything, if you're not expecting a call from your bank, you're not expecting a call from a loan officer or whatever, don't be giving out that information unless you remember setting something up that you were going to talk to these people. And then again, I would just, find ways to verify that way. Then the second type is vishing, which we also talked about previously. And vishing scams are voice like phone call scams. So in vishing scams, fraudsters make calls impersonating legitimate entities like government agencies or financial institutions to trick victims in providing personal or financial information over the phone. So yeah, like we talked about before, basically, it just... Again, when they're calling you on the phone or, if they're leaving you an email or text message, again, it just comes down to if you are expecting those kinds of calls to come to you. And if you're not, then I would be wary of them and I wouldn't trust them. I would then either contact your bank or something like that to verify all that info. So the next one is smishing. So smishing we talked about before. It's text messaging phishing. So it's just all the different terms for phishing. So similar to phishing, smishing involves sending fraudulent text messages to the victim, often containing links or phone numbers that lead them to fake websites or phone lines dedicated to steal information. So yeah, this is them. Basically, again, another way to reach out to you. You'll sometimes get fake ones from like Verizon and things like that, saying you need to update your information through them. Same thing. So I'd be weary through text messages as well. I know Verizon tends to send out a lot of promos through text messages. I don't ever usually go through them that often. And luckily, most promos through Verizon's don't necessarily have links in them. They usually just tell you to go check out the My Verizon app, which is really good on their part. That way they keep it secure and they keep those habits going of not getting into the habit of just clicking on a link as soon as you see it in a text message. So yeah, the next one is farming. So farming involves redirecting victims from legitimate websites to fake ones without their acknowledgement. This is typically done by exploiting vulnerabilities in DNS servers, so domain name systems. This gets a little more complicated, but basically it's just a way to route you from one website to another without you knowing it. For example, like if you go to Amazon and then you click on an item in Amazon, all of a sudden it still says you're Amazon, but stuff could look slightly different, but still says Amazon.com. They can mess with it like that. So just keep that in mind. That's a really tricky one there. That's like some magician crap going on there. So the next one is data breaches. So data breaches are like websites where they have, a customer base and someone hacks into it and gets people's information. That is a good way people can, fall victim to identity thefts and stuff. So data breaches are when cyber criminals breach databases of organizations or institutes. They can steal personal information such as names, addresses, social security numbers, and financial data affecting a large number of people. So like I said, if Facebook has a breach or like Amazon or Twitter or all these big companies, if they have a breach, that can cause issues like this. Luckily, a lot of those websites don't ask for social security, but your name and your address easily can get leaked and your password to any accounts as well. So the next type of identity theft is medical identity theft. Criminals use stolen personal information to receive medical treatment, prescription drugs, or insurance claims under a victim's identity, potentially harming the victim's medical records and finances. Well, we all know how expensive doctoring is these days, so just another thing to look out for. Another type is child identity theft. Criminals target children's personal information to commit fraud because they often have clean credit histories. The thief may not be discovered until the child becomes an adult and applies for credit. So that can be a really scary one if they get a hold of your children's one and they got a ton of these open lines of credit and loans and things like that and credit cards. And right when they turn 18, that would be horrendous. That'd be terrible. That's even one I've never even heard of. So that's insane. That's even one that happens. But I mean, it makes sense. I mean, for them anyways, that's an option. So the next type is tax identity theft. Fraudsters use stolen information to file fraudulent tax returns and claim refunds on the behalf of the victim, causing financial and legal issues for the victim when a real tax return is filed. So yeah, this could really mess something up in your financial stuff, and just again, more stuff, headaches you won't want to have to deal with, so on and so forth. Employment-related identity theft. Scammers use stolen information to secure employment, often in jobs that require background checks. This can lead to legal troubles for the victim if the theft commits crimes while employed. Yeah, again, just a shitty situation. Synthetic identity theft. This involves creating a new identity by combining real and fabricated information. Scammers open fraudulent accounts and establish credit histories that can be exploited over time. So yeah, they just take real information, combine it with fake, and that's that version of that, and can still mess something up, Social engineering. So this type of identity theft, we actually have a different chapter on in our ebook about, because basically what social engineering is it's them manipulating your emotions and getting a reaction out of you to get you to commit and do something. That's how like movies and all sorts of like propaganda works. The whole idea of advertising and all that is to provoke an emotion out of you, whether it's good or bad, just to get you riled up or some sort of feel some more way, so you either remember a promotion or you act upon something. That's why especially political campaigns and stuff like that, the whole point of their campaigning and ads is to get some sort of reaction out of you for America and all that. So this is a big one, and you see a lot more of it these days. But basically what social engineering boils down to is scammers manipulate and deceive individuals, often pretending to be someone they trust, to diverge sensitive information or perform actions that benefit the scammer. So yeah, this is a very, very small portion of social engineering. It goes way deeper into that. But I mean, you've probably even gotten a call from certain scammers. A good example pops in my head is there's scammers that call, using AI to take the voice of a relative of theirs that they tried scamming before and fake this voice and talk to a relative and saying, hey, I got injured or I need money for insurance, and they can scam people that way. And that's a big part of social engineering there as well, especially with AI, how it is constantly updating. So next one is credit card fraud. I think we've all heard of this. Criminals steal credit card information or use counterfeit cards to make unauthorized purchases. This can result from physical theft or hacking into payment systems. So yeah, either them stealing your wallet or literally like logging in or breaking into a PayPal or something, or Cash App, that way. Then we got loan and mortgage fraud. Identity thieves may apply for loans and mortgages using victims' information, potentially causing them financial harm and damage to the victim's credit. And the final one is utility fraud. Scammers open utility accounts in the victim's name, leave unpaid bills, leading to financial and credit problems for victims. So this one is a big one that I came across, especially working in retail, for phones. People stealing information, making brand new phone accounts, getting phones, and then never paying them back. Never paying them. They'll ship the phones off. They'll sell them for double over somewhere in South Africa where they're a lot more expensive. I've seen a lot of this firsthand. So this is a big one, especially for scammers. And this one happens all the time, which is, again, when I was talking about Verizon text messages they were sending you, how they don't have links in them, because they are also trying to fight back on this, because, I mean, it's costing them money, too, because they're getting a commitment from these accounts saying they're going to repay, this amount for a $1,000 device, and then all of a sudden they don't get any money from that, and it gets delinquent, and guess what? That falls on the shoulders of whatever social that scammer used to set up the account initially. So, anyways, use this information to kind of help you categorize and detect different kinds of identity theft. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in another.